No, look, let's deal with this issue of the government of national unity. We are opposed to the government of national unity in as far as it resembles what was concocted in 1994. So if you were to check the outcomes of that government of national unity of Nelson Mandela, it had F.W. de Klerk as an executive deputy president. It had Pik Botha as a minister of mineral resources and energy. It had Andre van Niekerk as the minister of land and agriculture. It had some mayor from the National Party as minister of the environmental affairs and water affairs. And even he had in social development a minister which came from the apartheid establishment. We do not want to form any part of a government with representatives of the white colonial and apartheid system. And we think now that through fair observation and what got to happen with the Democratic Alliance and all these minority white parties, they represent that agenda. That is why the beneficiaries of the white capitalist and apartheid colonial establishment exclusively funded the Democratic Alliance and all these puppet parties. A lot of resources, hundreds of millions, were invested not just to fight the ruling party, the ANC, to fight against the economic freedom fighters. Where you had political organizations who dedicated their energy, their resources, human capital, and everything else that they dedicated was against the economic freedom fighters. We're not going to form part of any government with the Democratic Alliance. We're not going to sit alongside the Democratic Alliance and Freedom Front Plus in government as the economic freedom fighters. And we are not desperate for positions in government. We're not going to do everything in our power so that we're appointed into cabinet or we become speakers of parliament and all of those things. We're not going to sit alongside the land thieves. We're not going to sit alongside the people who got to benefit unlawfully for a very long time from colonialism and apartheid. We're not going to sit alongside them and constitute the government of South Africa. If the ANC wants to choose that road, they can go ahead and do what they did in 1994. And we know what are the consequences of what happened in 1994. Black people and Africans in particular remain on the margins of economic participation in South Africa. Black people more or less stay in the same spaces that they lived under when apartheid had segregated black people to inferior spaces. It's still a lived reality. Racism is still a reality. Poverty of our people is still a reality because of this government of national unity. If there's going to be any government of national unity, there must be clarity of what unity, what are uniting on. And our agenda that we are placing is that it must be the land question that must be at the center of what unites. Whatever government is going to be constituted must be a common agenda to improve the lives of our people, because our people are still on the margins of the economy. It must be an agenda to provide free education. Must be an agenda to protect workers' rights and interests, to enforce minimum wages in all the sectors where they are applicable. That is what the agenda should be all about. It must not just be about position sharing. It must be on principle issues that primarily emancipates and protects the interest of our people. That is the agenda that we are looking into. So you must look into the statement which we issued at the Results Operations Center. We say as the EFF that whoever is going to constitute government with us should have an appreciation of what we stand for. Because there are parties, by the way, who think that what